Welcome back to another video. If it looks like I am crying today, I am not. It's just because my sinuses are clogged up and my eyes start to water when that happens. It's pretty cold and windy out here, and we're on a tidal shoreline this morning, hoping to get ourselves some mussels. That's the goal, at least. If there's any oysters too, I have the license and those are open as well, so we'll pick those up. Just looking around here, I already see one right here. As you can see, he's tethered onto that. We're allowed to take blue mussels, horse mussels. I think rib mussels is another one. Pretty much any mussel that you find, you're allowed to take out here. How I'm gonna store them is in my backpack here, down in this container. It's just an easier way to transport them, and also an easy way to rinse them at the end. So I wanted to show you guys just what I look for when I'm out here. As you can see, the high tide watermark is that dark line going across the rocks right there. And then you come down the shoreline here to right about there is approximately the low tide mark, because low tide's in like 20 minutes. So we are right about there. It is definitely not a draining tide today, but it should be enough for us to find some mussels out here. As you can see up there, there's some shiny water and mud there as well, and also kind of like right in here. That's where people have clammed before, down here. When they dig out the clams, they leave a hole, and then the silt and the mud fills in over time, and then what you're left with is an area with not many rocks if it's recent, and also just kind of shiny mud. So this right here is what the clam diggers are looking for. This, that. Those are siphon holes, or that's what I call them, at least for the clams. Down below those holes, about 8 to 10 inches or so, should be some nice soft shell clams. But today is not a Saturday, so we can't partake in that. Although they are really good to eat and a lot of fun to catch and dig and everything, we can't do it today. I just found another mussel, and I don't know if you guys can see it. It's in the center of the screen right there. That's what I mean by them blending in a lot. But let's pull him out. A little dirty, but nonetheless, that's definitely a bigger one than the other one that we have right there. All right, there we got the focus. There you have it on my pointer finger. There is that small one that we just got, and then also this next one. They are different species of mussels, I'm pretty sure, but like I said, we can take both of them, so we'll throw these in the bucket and clean them up later. Just found a couple good ones right on the edge of the ice here. As you can see, just barely sticking out right there, and also right there as well. Those are pretty nice ones, actually. All right, let's grab these guys. Got one right there. He's attached to a big rock. We'll get him off of that in a minute here. Another one right there. So this is a good example of one that's hidden real well. This one's a little bit easier to see right there, but same with, where did it go? I think it's, yeah, oh, nope, that's an oyster. There's a baby oyster right there, a little too small for us to take, but there's another mussel hidden right underneath that rock as well. So not only is it just mussels up here, guys, there's a whole ton of other stuff out here. Let's see if I can find one right there. This is the shell to a soft shell clam. We just talked about those. The guys come out, in my state it's Saturday only that they can dig these, but those are what's beneath all the holes, little siphon holes around here. And also there's a mussel, but there's also these oysters. This one's stuck to a big rock. Let me wash them off for you so you can see them. So this is an oyster. It is, there we go, not a market grade oyster, a big enough oyster to keep, also because it's so stuck to this rock I wouldn't take it anyways. But these are out here as well, and there's all kinds of whelks and snails and everything else. And remember, this is in the winter too. Like, you got oysters, all these shellfish and everything, and baby snails and stuff, but in the summertime you'll have baby shrimp stuck in the grass, the seaweed up here. You'll have baby fish stuck there, baby eels, all kinds of different stuff. It's really a place with a lot of life that has a lot going for it, and it's pretty interesting to come out here and actually see it. Let's see if there's anything below this seaweed here if we move it aside. See if there's any more. There's a couple. There's one right there. There's a little guy. Oh, two. There's actually three here. 2, They're so tough to pull off when they're down deep in there. That's why they got that giant cluster of rocks tied to them. And we'll talk about what that cluster of rocks is later when we start cleaning them up. I'll explain how that works. Here's a whole bunch of them, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. And then over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a whole bunch, and we are right below the high water mark. We are quite close to it. Also, you can see all these clam holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a whole bunch of them. Maybe I have to come back out here and try clamming sometime. Check this out that I just found, guys. It's a big mussel with a whole, well, 3 little oysters attached to it. And I'm not going to take this just because the amount of, whatever you call it, food and reward wouldn't be worth taking it from the water. Alright, so I got like 30 in there or so, and that's going to be plenty for me. Obviously, I need to clean them up, but I don't want to do it here because I just have that container. I need a little bit more water to get them real clean. This ice, the sounds that it makes is pretty cool. I'm going to set the camera up on the tripod here and see if I can get you guys to be able to hear what I'm hearing. Well, I thought that was kind of cool. I've been listening to it the whole time I was out here. Really, you could hear it in the background, just like that helicopter now. But anyways, I hope that you guys are able to hear it. I'll see you guys back at the house. I got a little bit of a walk out of here, so see you in just a second. To clean them up, all I'm gonna do, look at all that mud, is just run them under some fresh water here. They have a cluster of rocks attached to each of their shells, and this is not actually rocks at the center of it. It's all these little stretchy fibers, and if you pull on them, they do have a lot of stretch to them, and they're really strong as well. But once you start pulling the rocks off, what you're going to be left with, there's a little snail shell, is what's called the mussel beard. And I used to think that this was a piece of seaweed, but it's actually not. It's a whole ton of fibers that the mussel uses to anchor himself to the seafloor so that he doesn't get taken away in the tide and everything. And with every mussel that you eat, you have to de-beard it. The ones that you get from the restaurant are obviously de-bearded because most of them are farmed. But when you go out and get them yourself, they're all going to have this for the most part. If they don't, you might have a little bit of crunch when you go to eat them. Just be on the lookout for that. So how you pull it out is you grab onto it and you pull towards the hinge of the shell, which is where the mussel closes from. And all you do is grab hold and pull down, and there was what you're left with. It's a lot like a piece of tendon almost, or a piece of meat. So this is what you're left with, is like a real tough tendon-like substance with a white tip. And that's how you know that you got it all, is when you have that little white thread at the end of it. If you don't get the thread, you might still have some left in the mussel, and it's going to be a little chewy or crunchy with the little rocks and the fibers and everything. But it's not the end of the world, it's still edible. I'm going to get to de-bearding the rest of these, making sure that I get all the ones that are full of mud and crud out of here. And then we're going to go and cook them. So I gave about half of them away, but this is what I'm going to keep for myself. And I just finished scrubbing these up. And as you can see, they look really nice and clean now. I'm really happy with how they cleaned up. They look just as nice as a store-bought mussel, and in my opinion, they're going to be better because they're from the wild. So obviously the water was boiling when I put the mussels in, but because these things are so cold, it takes a second for the water to come back to a boil. You can see it starting right there. I'm just going to cover these things up and wait until they all open up, and then they're going to be done. Well, it looks like most of them are opening up. We'll give it like another minute, and then we'll take it off the stove. Alright, I just killed the burner, guys. These things are going to come down from their boil. I wish you guys could smell this right now. These things smell incredible. The nice thing about mussels, guys, you don't need a license to do it. There's no limit on them and no size limit. I could go back tomorrow and get just as many as I got today. I really didn't take that many for what it is. And they're also delicious. You can do a ton of stuff with these. Throw them in pasta. Butter, garlic, all kinds of stuff. I just want to eat them whole because I like the flavor of them on their own, but that's up to you. Well guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure to always check your rules and regulations regarding to any shellfish that you're going to be harvesting, and also make sure that the shellfish grounds are actually open before you go. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and also subscribe if you want to see more videos from me in the future. I hope to see you in the next one.